Joining me from outside the High Court is TalkTV correspondent Oliver Whitfield-Mirchich. Hi, Ollie. Thanks for joining me. So explain why this is such a contentious issue.
Well, it's such a contentious issue because all of these people who live in the zone where this Ulez scheme is going to be expanded out to, quite a few of them have not got vehicles that are compliant. So they do not meet the emissions targets that's been set by the London Mayor's office. By and large, that's vehicles which have a petrol engine registered before 2006 or a more polluting diesel engine vehicle registered before 2015. Unless they change those vehicles, which will cost a lot of money, they then have to pay £12.50 a day. Now, yes, the London Mayor has expanded his scrappage scheme, but the sums that are being offered, £2,000 per car, £1,000 per motorbike and £5,000 for a wheelchair accessible vehicle, for many people isn't enough to make the shortfall on the quite high prices that we're facing at the moment on those newer vehicles. That's all because of the chip shortage and supply crisis that came in after COVID. That's really boosted up the prices of new vehicles as well as vehicles which do meet the standards that are on the used market. Now, the Mayor says that this move is needed so that 5 million more Londoners can breathe clean and fresh air. He says that he's doing it to try to stop the air pollution. But people that we've been speaking to say, like Michael Gove, it is a cash grab. They point to the fact that the London Chamber made £224 million from the scheme last year, from that payment of that £12.50 a day, as well as people who didn't pay and then were issued fines. They say that they simply cannot afford this. They're worried about elderly people who will be stuck in their homes if they don't have access to their car. They're worried about friends and colleagues who are on lower paid salaries who mightn't necessarily be able to travel into the zone to reach their job, as well as tradespeople who are, by and large, driving those white vans, more likely to be diesel, more likely to be polluting, and therefore falling under this new threshold. Earlier on, we caught up with some of those protesters outside the High Court when it was a little bit more sunny.
I just feel it's so wrong. We've lived in Croydon and Bromley for years. I had my car for 12 years. It's been fine all this time. So how can it suddenly be that I'd have to pay £12.50?
Basically a tax. It will not clean the air. He's expanding it out to outer London boroughs. Most of us in outer London boroughs, we're clean air. We don't have transport links. We're in the countryside. It is just a tax.
Vanessa, inside court, the barristers representing those 5 councils have taken the judge and the opposing side to task over the consultation period that was run in the lead up to this expansion announcement, saying that it was critically flawed. In places, it's looked like the judge has agreed with them, labelling the language that was used in the consultation and the results word salad. They're also questioning whether Sadiq has got the legal power to actually bring this scheme out even further to Greater London. All of that is being heard over today and tomorrow, and then a decision will be made by the judge. The outcome of that could mean that Sadiq has either got to rerun the consultation or delay the implementation of the scheme. But ultimately, it does look like the London Mayor wants to press ahead with this because it's a key programme policy from his time in office.
I mean, one of the things that hasn't been said today, Ollie, by either of us is that when people bought diesel cars originally, they thought that they were doing the environmentally sound and better thing. They had been told by the government that it was the right thing to do, not the wrong thing to do. So they did what they thought was the diligent, conscientious, socially responsible thing by buying a diesel car, only to find themselves now being severely financially penalised for doing exactly what they were asked and told to do, which makes it seem even more unfair.
Yes, definitely. And you've got to think back to all of the scandals that emerged around the catalytic converters that were meant to be attached to vehicles. Think of the Volkswagen scandal, where people were told that their vehicles met a certain emissions threshold that made them greener and made them better, only to find out that some companies had been lying about their emissions on vehicles for quite a number of years. You can see how people are annoyed at this. They've spent tens, 20 thousands of pounds in the past They say that their vehicles are still roadworthy, but they're now being penalised. One of the things that we have been hearing from people is, if the mayor cared so much about the pollution and the environment, then why not outright ban all of those vehicles? It seems that for them, from their side, that the mayor is just trying to raise cash, because he's saying that it's fine to have a polluting vehicle if you charge £12.50 a day, otherwise you're going to have to upgrade. Now, the mayor says all of the money that is raised will not be going back towards the officials in City Hall. It is going to be reinvested into public transport. But the problem for some of these people who live right near the border of the M25 is they don't have necessarily the same transport connections as we do here in inner London. They say they depend on their cars. They need to go down the road to pick up the kids, go to the shop. They say in some cases they're living 500, 600 metres away from where they need to go, which is in that zone. And so they feel unduly penalised for taking a very short journey and then having to face a payment of £12.50 a day.
And in this cost of living crisis, when people really are down to the wire when it comes to keeping their heads above water financially, in this occasion whereby mortgages have gone up, we hear, to 6%, people really are, as we hear every single day of our lives, struggling. Is this the right time to bring in this Ulez charge? Does it strike you, Ollie? Does it strike the judge maybe as being completely out of sync with what's most important and most significant in most people's lives? I mean, if you've hung onto your diesel car this long, it must mean you're not flushed with cash, mustn't it?
Well, I think the judge isn't going to be considering the timing of this, be there a cost of living crisis or not. He's going to be looking at the legality of the consultation and the legality of the decision. But the London Mayor is explicit. We currently have a climate change crisis. He has set goals to try to make London a greener, more healthy place to live, and that's what he wants to stick by. But by and large, for people who do not have access to cash to get a new upgraded vehicle that meets the emissions targets, or do not have the cash to afford £12.50 a day, this has proved to be a deeply, deeply unpopular policy. They are calling on the mayor to change his mind. The fear is, though, it does not look like the mayor will do that, and so these people will be left quite disappointed.
Ollie, we'll see you in the studio later on in the show. Thank you very much indeed. You might want to give me a call on this if you've still got a diesel car, 03444 499 1000. If you have views on the mayor saying, yeah, you can drive it, sure, but pay £12.50, whether you think that sounds as if it's nothing but a cash cow, or you think it shows a lack of conviction, or maybe you think the mayor believes very strongly in clean air. It's one of his absolute bugbears. He's always tub-thumping about it.